Look at this dude.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hey man, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, click that bell while you're at it to be a part of the most Noti Gang family. Best family on YouTube, and that's no cap, hands down. Hey man, we are here for the celebrity deaths. The most brutal ways legendary kings were murdered. We're gonna do less talk and more reacting. Let's dive right into this video. Let's go.
Alexander the Great. So, you conquer the entire known world by the time you're 32. You're undefeated in battle, and everyone basically thinks you're a literal god. How do you go out? In a blaze of glory on the battlefield? Assassinated by a jealous rival? Nah, man. You go out in a sweaty, delirious, agonizing fever dream in a palace in Babylon. That's the exit Alexander the Great got.
Damn, so he was the great at this, but he went out, sounds like a sickness or disease.
The story starts in late May, 323 BCE. Alexander attends a banquet, drinks a massive bowl of unmixed wine, like the ancient equivalent
What
of
is unmixed wine? What does that mean?
chugging Everclear. And soon after, he's hit with this searing abdominal pain and a raging fever. For the next 2 weeks, this guy who stared down armies just deteriorates. We're talking chills, sweats, crippling exhaustion. But he's still trying to run the empire from his bed, the absolute madman. But it gets worse. He gradually loses the ability to speak. His soldiers...
This is all from quote-unquote mixed wine? What is mixed... Or he said unmixed wine.
Grizzled veterans who had followed him to the ends of the earth were so worried they demanded to see him. So they file past his bed, one by one, and all Alexander can do is greet them with his eyes. Can you imagine that?
Nope.
The most powerful man in the world
Hell no.
rendered completely silent, just watching his army say goodbye. He finally becomes unresponsive and is declared dead. But here's where it gets really weird. According to the accounts, his body doesn't decompose for days. No signs of rot, nothing.
How does that work? His body was quote-unquote deteriorating when he was alive.
This, of course, just fuels the rumors that he was a god, or that he wasn't actually dead and was just paralyzed. Modern theories range from typhoid fever and malaria to acute pancreatitis from the heavy drinking. Some even whisper of poison, a slow-acting toxin slipped into his wine.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. If he was this great, you feel me? Obviously, you're going to have some haters. You're going to have someone that's going to want to take you out. So if he was known to drink wine like that, then I wouldn't be surprised if his wine was poison.
The man who conquered the world was ultimately conquered by something inside his own body, leaving his empire to be torn apart by his generals. Genghis Khan. Alright, so if Alexander's death was a slow, public spectacle, Genghis Khan's was the complete opposite. This is the guy who built the largest contiguous land empire in history, a disciplined war machine that stretched from China to Europe. His death? A state secret. A ghost story. It's August 12, 27.
Oh, I thought this is this is the year. I don't know why it's smashed together like that. I was confused. I was like, damn, this was way, way, way back when.
Genghis is in his mid-60s, still personally leading a campaign against the Western Shah in northwestern China. They had defied him, and Genghis Khan did not do defiance. His goal was total annihilation. But during the campaign, he suddenly falls ill. Chinese and Persian chronicles say he developed a raging fever and was dead within about 8 days. Just like that. The cause is a total mystery. Traditional stories are all over the place. Some say he was killed in battle. Others whisper he was mortally wounded by a captured Shah princess who used a hidden device to castrate him in his sleep before taking her own life. A more likely theory is that he died from complications from an earlier fall from his horse, or maybe an infectious disease like typhus or even the bubonic plague. The man who unleashed biological warfare on his enemies may have been taken out by a single invisible microbe. But here's the most insane part. His death was kept completely secret. His inner circle didn't want the army to lose morale or the enemy to get wind of it, so they pretend he's still alive while they finish the campaign. They crush the Western Shah, slaughtering its population and burning its cities to the ground,
Damn.
all while their leader's corpse is hidden in a tent. After the war is won, they transport his body back to Mongolia for a secret burial. The location is still...
So, like, essentially, just to make everyone, like, he just disappeared. No one knows if he's alive, dead, or anything.
Still unknown. The funeral procession supposedly killed anyone and anything they encountered to conceal the route. They literally erased his grave from history. The man who redrew the map of the world doesn't even have a marker. Julius Caesar. Okay, this one is the OG political assassination, the one all the others are compared to. Julius Caesar. The man who conquered Gaul, crossed the Rubicon, and basically dismantled the Roman Republic to make himself dictator for life. The date is the Ides of March. March 15th, 44 BCE. The whole city of Rome is buzzing with
Way back when, bruh. That's crazy.
bad vibes. Soothsayers had warned Caesar about this day. His own wife, Calpurnia, had a nightmare that his statue was bleeding and begged him not to go to the Senate. But he goes anyway,
Should have listened.
probably feeling invincible like he always did. He arrives at the Curia of Pompeii, the Senate's meeting place. A group of senators, his supposed allies, surround him. They pretend they're presenting a petition. Then, one of them, Casca, strikes the first blow. It's the signal. Suddenly, it's a feeding frenzy. Daggers flash.
Damn.
These guys, about 60 of them, just go to town on him. Caesar tries to fight back at first.
Yo. Damn, bruh. There's no escape. You might as well just go like this. Just put your hands up and y'all stab away. Please just hurry up and just kill me. You feel me? Like, yo.
But he's overwhelmed. He staggers, bleeding, and collapses at the base of a statue of his old rival Pompey.
Damn.
The irony is just chef's kiss.
Yeah?
An autopsy later revealed he had been stabbed 23 times. 23. But here's the kicker.
I mean, it's a lot, but we said 60 people. I was thinking maybe like we talking about like 200 stabs to the body. Like,
only one of those wounds was actually fatal, a deep one to the chest.
oh,
Most of the senators were just wildly stabbing, probably hitting each other in the chaos. It was a messy, savage, and deeply personal execution.
damn.
His last words are famously recorded as "Et tu, Brute?" You too, Brutus, as he saw his protege among the killers.
Damn.
Though in reality, he probably just died in shocked silence. The liberators thought they'd save the Republic, but all they did was light the fuse for a civil war that would burn it to the ground and give rise to the Roman Empire. Good job, guys.
That part.
Leonidas I of Sparta. We all know the story. The 300 Spartans at the narrow pass of Thermopylae holding off the entire Persian army. At the center of it all is their king, Leonidas. Unlike the others on this list, his death wasn't about intrigue or disease. It was about turning his own body into the final line of defense. For 2 days, Leonidas and his small force of Greeks used the terrain to perfection, neutralizing the Persians' massive numbers. They held the pass. But then, betrayal. A local Greek named Ephialtes shows the Persian king, Xerxes, a mountain path
I feel like I'm in like history class at this point, bruh.
to outflank them. Leonidas finds out he's surrounded. It's over. He dismisses the rest of the Greek allies, telling them to get out while they can. But he stays. He and his 300 Spartans, plus a few other loyal Greeks, are going to see this thing through to the end.
Damn.
In the final, climactic battle, Leonidas fights at the very front. Accounts say he was killed relatively early in the fighting, falling in a hail of arrows and spears. But his death wasn't the end of the fight. It was the reason for the rest of it. The remaining Spartans, seeing their king fall, go absolutely berserk. They fight their way to his body and drag it back to a small hill. For the next hour, the battle rages over Leonidas' corpse. His men, exhausted and wounded, form a circle around him, fighting with swords, hands, and teeth until they are...
I ain't gonna lie. I'm so glad I was not born in those... I don't even know what to call this. Just that era in life, bruh.
Finally cut down by
Could
a
not be
storm
me.
of arrows. Even in death, the Persians weren't done with him. A furious Xerxes, enraged by his losses, ordered Leonidas' head to be cut off and his body to be crucified. It was meant to be the ultimate disgrace, but it completely backfired. It just cemented his legend. Leonidas didn't die in a palace. He died on the front line, and his dead body became the last piece of ground his men would surrender.
Damn, that's crazy. So disrespectful to a corpse, bruh.
His corpse was the final fortress.
Damn.
Richard I, the Lionheart of England. Richard the Lionheart, the legendary Crusader king, the bane of Saladin, the guy with a reputation for being an absolute terror on the battlefield. So how does a guy like that check out? A duel with a Saracen emir? A heroic last stand in the Holy Land? Not even close. He died because of a petty squabble over treasure, taken down by a boy with a crossbow and a frying pan. I'm not kidding.
So this is nothing new nowadays when people get killed over their chains or their J's on their feet or their wallet, bro. Man, this shit's been happening since BC. I don't even know how to say the year. Like, whatever BC this is, it's been happening this whole time. People getting robbed
It's March
and killed
1199.
over stupid shit.
Richard is besieging a minor castle, Chalus-Chabrol, in France. The reason? A rumor that a local peasant had found a trove of Roman gold. Richard, always short on cash, wanted his cut. One evening, he's walking the perimeter of the castle, no armor on, when a defender on the walls takes a potshot at him. The defender, a boy named Pierre Basile, was apparently using a frying pan as a makeshift shield. He fires a bolt, and it hits Richard in the left shoulder, near his neck. At first, Richard just shrugs it off, but the wound was serious. Back in his tent, a surgeon makes a complete mess of removing the arrowhead. The wound quickly becomes infected. For the next 12 days, the Lionheart, the great warrior, lies in his tent as gangrene sets in.
So did he die from the wound, or did he die because the doctor fucked up on getting the arrowhead out?
The wound turns black, it stinks, and he slowly, painfully rots from the inside out. He finally dies on April 6th, with his mother, Eleanor of Aquitaine, by his side. But here's the twist. Before he died, Richard ordered the boy who shot him to be brought in. In a final act of chivalry, he forgave him, gave him a bag of silver, and ordered him set free. A truly noble gesture.
I ain't gonna lie, that is very, very noble. Okay.
Except, as soon as Richard was dead, his men ignored the order. They flayed the boy alive and then hanged him. So, the great Lionheart dies not in a
Yo, that's so fucked up.
blaze of glory, but from a festering wound inflicted by a kid during a shakedown over some rumored treasure. History, man. It's merciless.
Like I said, it feels like we in history class.
Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu. The man who revolutionized warfare in southern Africa, who turned the Zulu clan into a fearsome, expansionist empire with his short, stabbing spear, the Ikla, and his brutal bullhorn formation. This was a man who lived and breathed violence and conquest. The years leading up to his death were dark. After his mother, Nandi, died, Shaka plunged into a period of extreme, grief-fueled tyranny. He ordered mass killings of anyone deemed not mournful enough, forbade
You're not sad enough. Kill him.
the planting of crops, and even ordered that no milk be consumed. He basically alienated everyone around him. His two half-brothers, Dingane and Mushlingana, saw their chance. Along with a trusted advisor named Ubofa, they plotted to take him out.
Damn.
On September 22nd, 1828, they made their move. They approached Shaka in his royal kraal at Kwadukuza. It wasn't a battle, it was an execution. They found him with only a small retinue, not his full bodyguard. Mbofa struck the first blow, and then his brothers moved in,
It'd be your own people, bruh.
stabbing him repeatedly. And here's the savage detail. They used the very weapon he had...
But at the same time, you can't really blame him for wanting to kill him, because if he was sitting there and forcing people to not, like, they couldn't consume milk, blase, and this and that and the other. Like, yeah, people is not gonna want you to be the leader if you're doing all of this extra shit. You feel me?
Perfected the Ikla. They killed the master with his own tool. As he lay bleeding on the ground, surrounded by the men who were supposed to be his family, Shaka is said to have uttered a chilling prophecy. He told them they would never rule, and that the real power in the land would go to the swallows, the white settlers who were beginning to arrive. He was right. His brother's reign was plagued by conflict, and the Zulu kingdom would eventually fall to the British.
Damn, that's crazy. Like I said, watching these type of videos, it just makes me feel like I'm in a history class. I learned something. You feel me? Hey, man, if you guys made it to the end, I do greatly, greatly appreciate it. Smash the like button, leave a comment, click that bell. Until next time, see y'all next time. I'm out.